The tablecloth pole man can cure many things like depression, anxiety, worries, and even demonic possession. You are probably wondering about who the tablecloth pole man is. You ever witnessed someone pulling a cloth away from the table while there are objects on the table? It's pretty cool, right? And the tablecloth pole man can do it many very ways. He is wonderful, or the worst thing to ever happen to you. He hangs around with the poor and distraught, and with many people whom the world has no care for. I bumped into him in some back end alley, and he was treating a man with terrible anxiety. There was a bit of a crowd, and no cameras were allowed to be used, but the man with anxiety was in a bed while also covered in a duvet. Cloth pole man started to put objects on top of the duvet, while the man with anxiety was under it. From my perspective, it wasn't going to work. But when he successfully pulled the duvet off the bed, with all objects still on the man, it was amazing. Then the cloth pole man touched both of the man's shoes, and pulled all of his clothes away, making his patient naked. His clothes were somehow connected like a towel. The objects were still standing on top of the naked. Then I witnessed the cloth pole man touch the naked man's toes and pulled off his skin like a cloth, and his skin was like a large towel. The cloth pole man simply hung it with the other things he pulled off the man with anxiety. The man with anxiety was all organs now, and we could see the blood, organs, bones. And it was just impossible. As he tried to grab a hold of the anxiety while leaving the rest out, and when he pulled the man's anxiety out, the objects that were still standing straight nearly fell. It was a success, and bit by bit the tablecloth man put back his organs, then his clothes, and then the duvet. He took them off, the objects on top of him. And the man with anxiety didn't have anxiety any. The towel, though, was the man's anxiety, was the tablecloth. Man's responsibility, and he took it with him. I followed him, and in his home you could see his front garden full of cloths and towels, which were people's depression, anxiety, and even demons, which he pulled out of them while objects were on top of them. The tablecloth man looked at me and told me to be careful and not to touch any of the cloths or towels, or else I will be infected. The cloths and towels he hangs act like some security system against thieves or anyone wanting to harm him. He invited me into his house, and while he was making me something, some guy tried breaking into his house, and he ran through all of the towels and cloths. He was covered in them, and he fell to the floor, shaking. The tablecloth man got him inside and put him in one of his beds and under a duvet. He started to put objects on top of the duvet with the stranger underneath. And then he started to pull off the layers bit by bit. What confused the cloth man is that this man had more layers to pull off than the towels and cloths that he ran into. The objects were always on top of him, always still, but now and then shaking a little. I have always wondered what would happen if an object... Then it happened. While the cloth pole man got to the soul bits, we both witnessed the demons and external spirits all inside this stranger. The cloth pole man found it difficult to pull them off, and an object actually fell. And when an object falls, the cloth pole man can no longer pull out anymore. He put back the stranger's organs, skin and bones, clothes, and the duvet. The cloth pole man looked at me and said, "We need to get out now. This man has multiple demons and spirits inside of him." He booked himself into a hotel, and when I got home, I was feeling rather unnerved by towels and cloths.